how to modify your ketogenic diet after the adaptation process is over? That's the right question. In this episode, I want to stress and underline the most important factors that, when applied correctly, will allow you to stay fat adapted, stay ripped, and motivated to use less fats, more carbs as a booster, and maybe a little bit of more proteins, building your even bigger lean mass. So by the end of this video, you will know how to modify your diet to tailor it to your specific needs. Many often, the negligence of ketogenic diet application to your lifestyle is the reason why people get back to so-called balanced diet, which is very often, simply put, full of junk and won't provide you with neither good physique nor good health. So let's just have a look. My name is Przemek and I am a lifestyle coach and stop smoking expert. Before we dive deep into the subject, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel that is all about optimizing mental and physical health, including fat loss, meditation, and getting rid of any kind of addictions where hypnotherapy comes into place. So first of all, I would like to stress the importance of ketosis as a tool to being fat adapted, which means, in accordance to studies like Volex, that you will utilize fats as a source of fuel 2-3 times more efficiently than in case of normal eating in a form of standard European or American diet, allowing myself to generalize that way, if you will. I'm not to tell you about all the benefits related to ketosis right now, but simply stated, I'm going to concentrate on one important factor right now, which is utilizing one of the biggest benefits of being in ketosis for some time, which is fat adaptation. As we talk about fat adaptation, the adaptation process, how long does it take exactly? I'm not talking about my experience, since it is always a personal, individual thing, but from my experience with the clients, backed up by the science and example of Volex studies, it takes about 9 months to be fully adapted on a mitochondrial level. So, first of all, being in ketosis all the time allows you to utilize fats efficiently, simultaneously with the carbs as well, so you are actually becoming a hybrid of some sort. Being involved with my clients for years, I did realize that first of all, carbohydrates after some time are necessary to keep the balance as it comes to, for example, the hormonal balance. Let me mention the SHBG, sex hormone binding globulin, which is carb dependent and allow you to keep up with the testosterone level. You might have even heard of a lot of men using ketosis as a therapeutic tool that allow them to improve upon their health in general, but that testosterone. In my opinion, the only but there is the one you like to gaze at and maybe touch. So there's always a solution, believe me. In case of non-training people, I usually use the carb night protocol, which means eating more carbs every 14 days, for example. In case of women, it should be suited to their periods. So, maybe implementing the carb cycling of some sort, which is a solution created mainly by the Dr. Di Pasquale, who published the book, The Anabolic Diet. These are the solutions I would recommend. So, as you can see, the first variable that might vary with time is the amount of carbs, which in case of sports people, I would recommend should amount up to sometimes 200, 300 grams per day. And it always depends on the activity level, since carbs are the macronutrient that is energy expenditure dependent. What I would recommend is to start off by adding like 50 grams as the first batch, and use it for the first week and see what happens. The next week start maybe adding like 10 grams a week of carbs. When you reach the level of 100 grams and feel great, try to surprise your body and get down to 30 grams for a week or so. Then get back to 100 grams. If you are an active person and you would want me to put that into percentages, I would range from 10 to 40% of general supply that comes from carbs, and I would change it in 1-2 weeks periods for the best results for your physique and performance. You need to surprise your body. In such case, and in many others, I would recommend to utilize the targeted ketogenic diet, which means that you use carbs before, during, in case of longer workouts, which means more than 60 minutes, and above all, after the workout. Obviously, the amounts will vary with sex, activity level, lean body mass, and for example, age or your metabolic flexibility. The example of a sports person, let me tell you that, weighing about 200 pounds, being a man, training about 60 minutes, would be loading up with honey in the amount of 2 tablespoons prior to workout, roughly around 20-30 minutes before you work out, and then loading up about 200 to 300 grams of carbs, obviously in case of heavier male athletes. Science says that the anabolic window using carbs lasts from the moment you finish your workout up to 6 hours after, in case of exhausting workouts. If you want to speed up the process of reloading your glycogen levels, I would recommend a protocol that will allow you to ignite your GLUT4 and sGLUT, which means sodium-dependent receptors, which you can utilize by applying glucose and fructose in the presence of 100 milligrams of caffeine and about 5 grams of sodium. That will allow you to load up your glycogen level 2.5, 2.7 times faster than normally. Another option would be to use the berberine, which increases the amounts of GLUT4 receptors, and still we do have many other options. If you want to know more about the subject, let me know in the comments section below. But back to the business. Another variable that is important to concentrate on are obviously fats. At the beginning of your supply of fats needs to be higher, since you are trying to convert the whole metabolic machinery to make it adapted to use fats as the primary source of fuel. So one thing that is crucial to the success of the whole process, as you know probably, is the absence of carbohydrates that normally are the primary source of energy your entire life. That allows your body to transition from carbs to fats from the best sources, which are obviously saturated fats. The difference is huge as it comes to stamina, stable sugar levels, cognitive functions, ability to concentrate over long hours of work, but that's not something that I'm going to concentrate right now. So, to carry on, you downsize the supply of fats, increase the amounts of protein, and you distribute proteins evenly throughout the day, and then you add some carbs at the end of the day to allow yourself for better sleep, thanks to tryptophan. This strategy might be effective if you have sleep problems, since adding some carbs in the evening will allow your body to secrete more insulin and more amino acids will be transported into the cells, but for the tryptophan, which will remain in the blood plasma, and that will make it possible to cross the blood-brain barrier, allowing the brain to secrete serotonin. Another factor related to a bit higher consumption of carbs is that will allow your testosterone to rise and stabilize and, so to speak, reset your hormonal surrounding. So, there is no better way to check it as to check it on your own. Let me tell you that there are a lot of protocols that involve carbs at the end of the day, and these are, for example, the Warrior Diet by Ori Hofmeckler, which in fact is the precursor of the intermittent fasting diets, Renegade Diet, or very popular lately, Carb Backloading by Kiefer, who pretty much has put down everything in more detailed science, backed up by the latest research. So, At the end, let me mention, for example, Dr. Ted Naiman. He is an MD, his book is Pea Diet, and he recommends, in short, protein and fats in 1-to-1 ratios that come to grams, and then adding some carbs at the end of the day in the form of resistant starches. So to summarize, once you are adapted to fat and secreting enough ketones to feel great, it's time to optimize your diet. I wouldn't recommend concentrating on ketone bodies levels, which will decrease your blood readings with time, but observing such subjective parameters like energy level during the day, during the workouts, sleep quality, libido, and stable energy levels during the day. Remember that there is no perfect formula for everyone, but the one that suits you best. In terms of lifestyle, energy expenditure, and obviously your expectations. You are the most important person, and you are the one that should find your own best solution. Remember also that with time your requirements for certain macros will change, and that requires your, so to speak, sobriety or mindfulness. Please always remember to make sure that your diet is full of quality foods and micronutrients that are more important than macronutrients. Be great, and let me invite you to subscribe the channel once again. Please ask questions and like if you find it useful what I create for you specifically. All the best to you and take care. Till the next episode. Bye.